Safe, sturdy and dependable virtues are all very well, but to succeed in the executive saloon class, Volvo's S80 needs to do more, and the second generation model has had an impressive stab at it. Strong engines and a refined driving experience help, as does the slick Swedish interior. It might be unremarkable to look at, but for executive car buyers not obsessed with German badgework, the S80 makes remarkable sense. Despite Volvo's best efforts, their S80 Executive Saloon is best known, if it's known for anything at all, as being the car that wafts Virgin Atlantic's upper-class passengers from their homes to their executive airport lounges. Few will have noticed it on the way. It's that kind of highly efficient yet unassuming car. The first generation car was very similar, and when it was replaced by this model in 2006, most expected Volvo to provide something a bit more dynamic. Well, in many ways they have, but it isn't immediately obvious. Still, if you find class-leading safety, V8 flagship power, or the outstanding fuel economy you get on the entry-level version dull, then I guess that's your loss. You probably won't be expecting this car to handle like a BMW 5 Series, which is just as well because it doesn't. Mind you, no other executive saloon in the sector handles like a 5 Series either, and few of them compensate by being such a relaxing long-distance driving companion as this S80. Now, of those that do, they're either much more expensive or they depreciate like a stone. The engine lineup's a lot more exciting than you might be expecting. The 315 brake horsepower V6 petrol 3.2 litre unit is just the start of it. That has all-wheel drive. The next engine down, the 235 brake horsepower 3.2 litre six-cylinder, is a little bit more homegrown. It's actually built in Wales, and it's so compact that it's actually smaller than the two 5-cylinder engines that were carried over from the previous S80 lineup. These include a 2.5T petrol with 200 brake horsepower and a D5 diesel with 185 brake horsepower. Now the D5's tempting with its hefty 400 Newton meters of torque, but the version that I'd go for is the one I'm driving here, the 2 litre D. Now forget the 136 brake horsepower output. The figure that's really important here is 320 Newton meters of torque. That's a lot of pulling power. That's comparable to the much more expensive petrol 2.5T after all. And I can't imagine why any executive would really need any more everyday performance than this. I certainly can't see any point in buying the 163 brake horsepower 2.4D version. Rest to 60 is dispatched in around 10 seconds on the way to a top speed of 130 odd miles an hour. And you should average 50 miles to the gallon on a regular basis. I mean, that's better than a common or garden petrol family hatchback. None of the German makes can provide a rival that can get anywhere close to the S80 2 litre D, and they certainly can't get close to its sub £25,000 asking price. First impressions are deceiving with this car. Indeed, it's only when you get a first generation S80 and put it up against the second generation version that you can see just how different the two models are. Okay, some of the primary design cues are the same. You've still got the shoulders that run the length of the design that end up with the tail lights, the domed, rather arched roofline, and the very bluff front grille up front. Look beyond those things, however, and you'll see that the vehicle stance is quite different, and some of the finer detailing is now very impressive. Put simply, the old S80 was a rather frumpy thing. This one's smartened up nicely. Inside, it's all rather refreshing. Instead of just trying to copy their German rivals, Volvo have gone their own way. The Swedes claim that their design language radiates a simpler, more stylish and modern feel by combining aesthetics and technology in a more inviting and intelligent way. Now, I'm not sure I buy into that completely, but there's certainly an appealing blend of no-nonsense Scandinavian style, thanks to nice touches like this slim, floating centre stack in the middle of the dash, quality upholstery materials, and a nice blend of colour schemes and inlays that all work smoothly together. As before, there's comfortable room for 3 adults across the back seat and a huge 422 litre boot, which you can extend by folding the rear backrest forward. As you can see, they split fold. If you want more carrying capacity than that from this brand, then you'll need Volvo's V70, essentially the estate version of this car. The majority of Volvo S80 sales are in the familiar £24,000 to £30,000 bracket for this class of car, although theoretically you could pay up to almost £40,000 for one. Now, expect to save around £1,500 to £2,000 on comparable models like BMW's 5 Series and Audi's A6, or considerably more if you're thinking Mercedes E-Class. Equipment levels in all models run to dual zone climate control and a punchy stereo package. More important standard features though concern the S80's class-leading safety systems. Now, it would take all day to go into the dynamics of how all those work, but I'll just give you the highlights. Volvo reckon there's more to safety than just dotting airbags around the cabin, although of course there are plenty of those. That's why they've developed a collision warning system for this car, along with a brake support setup. There's also adaptive cruise control, ACC, active bi-xenon headlamps that swivel with the car, and a patented body structure developed at the Volvo Safety Centre. Personally, I like the idea of ordering the optional personal car communicator, which fits inside the key fob here and is able to actively check whether the car's locked or not, alert you if the alarm is set off, or warn you with a heartbeat sensor whether there's anyone inside the car who shouldn't be. As I've already suggested, the standout model in the range from a cost of ownership point of view is the S80 2-litre D. Asked for it by name. As so often, the least expensive entry-level model is the best. After all, you can't really argue with limo luxury, 130 mile/hour performance, rest to 60 in 10 seconds, 50 miles to the gallon fuel economy, 151 grams per kilometre of CO2 emissions, and a sub 25 grand asking price. If you do want to go faster, but why? It's not a sports saloon for goodness sake, but if you do, then the diesel D5 is a decent pick. It's a 185 brake horsepower engine, cutting the rest to 60 time to about 8 seconds, on the way to a top speed of about 143 miles an hour. Now, fuel consumption isn't too badly affected. You should average about 45 miles to the gallon on a regular basis. If you must have petrol power, then bear in mind that the two largest petrol engines in the S80 lineup deliver fuel consumption figures of 23 and 27 miles to the gallon respectively on a regular basis, so they're not the choice for the cost conscious. In fact, you'd probably be better off with the older 2.5T petrol unit, which provides acceptable performance, rest to 60 in 7.2 seconds on the way to 148 miles an hour, plus you should average around 30 miles to the gallon on a regular basis. Depreciation can be a tricky subject for Volvo, and you'll have to expect that this S80 will lose its value slightly more quickly than some of its key German rivals. Longer service intervals and lower asking prices help redress the balance though, and overall the S80 is a competitive proposition on cost of ownership grounds. This has to be the thinking person's executive car. No, it's not the most dynamic to drive, and yes, it could be more charismatic. But still, there's no doubt that a lot of thought has got into the S80. To my mind, a handsome car with none of the pretension that characterises some of its immediate rivals. Build quality and safety are obvious strengths, but the cabin design will also win the car many friends. If you're looking for a softer, friendlier antidote to all that German slickness, then this could well be it.